good chunk of the second, and then everything kind of seemed to stop. Can you put your finger on what happened?
Yeah, like you said, it was obviously a solid first period. Obviously, we gave up one late there at the end of the first, and then for the first 7-8 minutes, I guess, of the second period, there was some chances, there was some things to like about it, and then they got a couple obviously, and then just sat back on our heels a little bit, and they capitalized on their opportunities.
What can be done to maybe clean up the front of the net a little bit better?
Well, it comes down to one-on-one battles. Obviously, we got to do a better job. Everyone, doing a better job of making sure Helly sees the puck, and obviously they're getting 6 on it, and they're screening them, doing a pretty good job. And at the end of the day, this time of the year, that's where games are won or lost.
You've been around a long time, Luke. What are the keys to maintaining composure?
Well, it's a 2-2 series. I think obviously they're a dominant team at home. There's no question about that. They've been playing some great hockey down the stretch, and at the end of the day, when you're up 2-0 in the series, there's nothing to protect, and maybe we sat back and thought we'd defend that a little bit rather than you got to keep going and keep pushing. So I think obviously best of 3 now, and we got a great crowd obviously at home, and we got to obviously clean up some things and move on to the next one.
I know you mentioned some of what you can do as far as keeping the front of the net clear, but how else can you guys support Connor, as obviously it's not just one guy that makes a team, and how much confidence do you have in him as you return to Winnipeg? Yeah,
lots of confidence. I mean, he's had an unbelievable year, and it's you watch the replay of the goals that went in. I mean, they're deflections, they're screens, they're bouncing off us and in, and just obviously got to do a better job in front of the net. Like I said, games are won and lost in the hard area, and the hard area is in front of their net, in front of our net, and we obviously got to do a much better job of that.
In the third period, when they score so early, is that a matter of you guys just chasing, knowing the hill's so big, or what goes into that?
Well, I thought we had a good first couple shifts to start the third period, and had a couple looks and some zone time, and then, like I said, they get an opportunity and they capitalize on it right off the hop. So, obviously you're probably being a little bit more aggressive than you typically would with with the score the way that was. But at the end of the day, that one didn't really make a difference, I don't think.
What did you see from Hayden in his playoff debut here?
Yeah, good. Skates obviously real well and moved the puck well. So obviously it's good on him to jump in the middle of the series. He played well.
What is the best way for you guys to frame this for yourselves heading into Game 5?
Say that again, sorry?
What's the best way that you can frame this for yourselves heading into Game 5?
Well, you got to reset. I mean, obviously, 2-2, I don't think anyone expected this to be an easy series, at least personally I didn't. I mean, I watched the Blues the last 2 months of the season, and they're the hottest team in the NHL for a reason, and had the best home record and didn't lose at home down the stretch. So obviously knew this wasn't going to be easy. They have a solid, no holes in their lineup. I guess their D's playing real well. Obviously Bennington's playing great, and everyone's contributing for him. So obviously, just because it doesn't matter how the regular season finishes up. I mean, you're playing the hottest team in the league down the stretch, and they're playing with confidence, and we got to regroup and we should have a lot of confidence ourselves too heading home.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
I'll ask you the last question I asked Luke, which is, what's the best way for you guys to frame this heading into Game 5?
It's a best 2 out of 3 series. We have home ice, so we got 2 days to regroup, and then back in front of our fans. So obviously not what we wanted, but best 2 out of 3 series now.
What can you do to give Connor Hellebuyck his eyes back with all that traffic?
I think first off, their D have their eyes up. So they're able to find lanes. I think it's just a matter of, closing it down quicker and going from there.
In the third period, you guys had a big hill, and were you maybe just trying to chase that deficit heading into that goal against?
Yeah, we had I think it was just a miscue and, stinky one.
You looked like you had your game for most of the first and a good chunk of the second. What changed?
I don't know. I think you just kind of, they obviously got that second one and, made a bad read on the third one and ends up in the back of the net. So, just kind of got away from us. We kind of unraveled a little bit, and I think that's more our doing than theirs.
What's it going to take to get the momentum back in the series?
We got 2 days. We've had a lot of time in between games. It's tough to get in the rhythm of things, but we have 2 days and get back in front of our home fans and get excited for that.
The goal that you guys scored, lots of turnovers that you guys forced off of them. Is there anything you can take from that into creating more against these guys?
Yeah, I think we got to be quick to close on them all over the ice. You got to have good sticks, get pressure on them and make mistakes.
Would you say was the biggest change from what took place in Winnipeg to what we've seen over the last couple of games here in St. Louis?
I don't know. I think we gave them too much. They got some good players over there, and they made us pay.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
You weathered their storm early and got the start that you wanted. What was the difference between that and then where things went off?
Yeah, it was a great start. I thought that we did a lot of things that we had, talked about as a group. Got off, had a lot of opportunities. Bennington made some big stops. We couldn't find a way to. We finally got one, obviously, but the one with 22 seconds or 23 seconds that that got them back in it after not playing a very good period. Even the first 8 minutes of the second, we were up and running again, and last 10 minutes we gave up 3 goals that are, those are coverage goals. Those are situations that, much like the first one, those are situations that, we usually handle pretty well. And those are they're finding ways to get that puck in the net, and we got to do a better job on the other end, making sure that we score some of those goals as well.
The 23 seconds goal, is that a case where you sort of have help outside of that battle?
That's just coverage. That we got stuck on the wall, and that's just a coverage thing. I mean, the guy makes it. We end up two of their guys at the net front versus one of ours. They make a nice play and tip it, but I'm tired of watching them make nice plays and put them in the net. But that's on us. And I look at all the goals. I mean, those are coverage goals. Those are things that we usually handle pretty well, and we didn't tonight.
Are you of the opinion that it's more about giving Connor Hellebuck his eyes back or getting another save from him?
Again, the coverage part of it, there's ways that we have to play. One is, obviously, if there's people getting the net, we got to get them out of there before they try to get their screens. We got to box out earlier, those type of things. There's a lot of, like I mentioned, there's a lot of coverage stuff that we know how to do those things. We've been doing it all year long. We just got to go back to being better at it. We were good at it in the first. We did a great job in the first. We did a great job playing fast, defending fast. We did all those things. At the end of the day, you know what? They took advantage of home ice. We played 82 games to get home ice. Now it's the best of three. We put ourselves in this position. We really wanted to come home, either winning it or up 3-1. We're not. Now it's a best of three. Our best players have to be better than their best players.
You talked about the uncharacteristic coverage mistakes. Mark described it as he thought the team kind of unraveled.
Sorry, just give me a second. I can't really hear what you're saying there.
You were talking about the uncharacteristic coverage mistakes, and Mark had described it as he thought the team kind of unraveled. Is there an understanding maybe of why that's happening in this?
We unraveled in the sort of the last 7 or 8 minutes of that second period. I don't know if it's where the moment we're at or whatever, but it's uncharacteristic of our group. We're so good at how we defend, and I thought we did a really good job of it for close to 30 minutes. We played to them other than giving the goal up at the end of the first period. But those are things. We're just going to continue. We got to hammer it away. We can't. There's nothing we do about it. We go back and look at it, talk about it, and make sure that that we handle these situations better than we did tonight.
So, to that point, Scott, what are the things that you lean on?
I'll keep that one to myself. That's our strategy for the next game. So I'm not. I still understand your question. I'm just saying, there's stuff I'm going to look at the tape. We're going to talk about. We made adjustments tonight, and it worked. But we didn't do it for 60 minutes, and we need to do that. Obviously, this is a really good hockey team, and they're not going away. And they're not going to give an inch. And we have to. There's things that we got to continue to build on that we did tonight. But then there's some areas that we got to improve on.
Just a couple quick things with the lineup. How close was Velarde to being a player?
He was a game time decision, so he's closer. He's off the injured reserve. He's close now. So
just a quick one on defense. I know you said you had a couple guys banged up. Was Logan one of those guys?
That's where we are with this series. So I'm not talking injuries, but that's they're probably having the same issues over there. Your guys that you play these heavy games like this, guys are getting banged up. So we're just looking at making sure we got people out there that can give us what they can.
I know you mentioned the need to fix some of the coverage issues in front of Connor, but going forward, just how much confidence do you have in him, and how can returning home for potentially 2 of the next 3 games be a helpful reset?
Oh, I'm 100% confident in Connor Hellebuck. His resume speaks for itself. At the end of the day, we need to be better in front of him. We need to let him see some pucks. There's a couple there we didn't get to see. There's things that we have to do to help him. He knows that he has to do things to help us, and that's how it's been all year long. So we're all in this together. It's just a situation that we got to put our best foot forward when we go home. Like I mentioned, we worked our tails off for 82 games to get home ice advantage. Well, it's a best of 3 now. Now we got to make sure we take care of business.
Thank you.
Thank you.